Thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate you guys for checking back in for another new video. Um, so if you guys haven't figured out already, the elephant in the room is pretty much going to be about topics and questions and ideas that people are going to be talking about in general, but everybody's afraid to or doesn't really want to ask because they don't want to look like they're crazy or stupid or whatever. So you know what? We'll just ask them because a lot of the times I'm asking similar types of questions anyways. So, why not share the research that I'm coming across with everybody else? So that gets me into what our topic for today is going to be. And it's going to be a little bit of a hot topic issue, and that's going to be COVID-19, coronavirus, all that stuff. All right. So before I get started, I want to just quickly address the fact that I am not a scientist. I'm not a chemist. I'm not like a health representative or anything like that. But I am one curious son of a gun, and I do like to ask questions when I think something's fishy or if it just doesn't make any sense. I just want to understand. So, and when it comes to COVID-19, I definitely have a lot of questions with it. There's a lot of questions in regards to where it came from. Like, did it really come from the bats? Was it a leak? Was this caused on purpose? Bill Gates, there's a lot of different things and theories that are going around, and I just really want to find out. I want to know, and I don't believe there's anything wrong with having a curious mind. But before we get into all that, I do want to quickly ask you guys to, if you guys want to show your support, I know you guys want to show your love, please hit the like button, share the content, subscribe, comment, do all of the above if you guys want to. But yeah, all of those things will help get this video shown um, quickly and spread the word, knowledge, everybody levels up. All right. Now, I want to start off talking about this article with The Guardian, and and this article is going to highlight some of my issues that I have with the media and why I don't like to use sources like the media for most of my research because the media's purpose is to drive ad revenue, and a lot of the times they do that by fear mongering people, and I'm going to highlight that right now. All right, so looking at what Guardian says over here, SARS, the severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS, first appeared in November 2002 in southern China. All right, it spread around the world and often carried by airline travelers and eventually killed more than 750 people in 37 countries. It was contained by placing patients in quarantine, something that we're all familiar with, contained by placing patients in quarantine, and the outbreak ended suddenly, if I might add, in 2004, and then disease has never resurfaced. But scientists have always feared that SARS could reappear. Hence the efforts of Chinese scientists led by Shi Zhengli and Qi Ji of the Wuhan Institute of Virology, China. Sorry if I mispronounced their names. I apologize about that. To trace the source of the outbreak. Scientists initially suspected that civet cats sold in markets in China were the source of the virus, but later turned their attention to bats, which they later realized were the prime source of the virus. Civets were merely an intermediary. All right. Now, I want to point out that they say that bats were the prime source of the virus. They say that over 750 people were killed in 37 different countries. I want to go to what the WHO says about this, and I don't agree with everything that the WHO does and whatever, but I want to show what they have posted on their website about the SARS virus, and also I'll highlight what the researchers Shi Zhengli and Qi Ji, who they highlight in their own paper, say about it too. All right, now the WHO states the SARS coronavirus was identified in 2003, and SARS coronavirus is thought to be an animal virus from an as yet uncertain animal reservoir, perhaps bats. All right. When you say things like prime source of the virus, it makes everyone who doesn't understand what you're saying thinks that, oh, bats are the source of the virus. And then when you elevate the amount of countries that were affected, Lord, it just it just adds a whole lot of of fear mongering that is just unnecessary. And this is my problem that I have with using things like the media. They do things like this, and it really isn't right. Who said they don't know? All right. Who said they don't know where SARS comes from? Pretty much. They said it's thought to be from animal, maybe from bats. All right. The researchers that were hired and conducted to do the search to find where this reservoir came from, where the source animal came from, they are saying that bats are the natural reservoirs of SARS-like coronaviruses. All right. They didn't say the coronavirus. They said SARS like coronavirus, not SARS similar to SARS. All right. Now, don't let them use English to confuse you. This is why I want you guys to pay attention because this part is actually really important. SARS like coronaviruses. Now, if you look at what they're also saying a little bit further down, they say these viruses, termed SARS like coronaviruses, display greater genetic variation than the SARS coronavirus isolated from humans or from civets. We'll get why that doesn't make any sense later on, but pretty much what they told us were that SARS came from the civets that they saw before, like the Guardian was saying, but bats became the prime subject, the primary candidate for it, and civets were just an intermediary. All right. If you look into civets and what they did with the blood work on them, they actually didn't find that civets had this in their system for that long. So it was a new disease to them. So bats had newly affected them. So it, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. So something that many people don't realize is that we are actually hit with many different coronaviruses throughout the year, and this is why Lysol actually has coronaviruses written on their bottle and their wipe because we've actually had to deal with these coronaviruses before. All right, now regular general coronaviruses, not these SARS coronaviruses, are they will give you cold like symptoms, all right? Cold and flu like symptoms, runny nose, sores, aches, pains, all those jazz, all right? They'll give you those things, and those are SARS like symptoms, all right? All right. So the bat that they found had SARS like coronaviruses, all right? Similar to pretty much the coronaviruses that Lysol kills that gives you cold and flu like symptoms. And when you look at SARS and COVID-19, they also give you aches, pains, fatigue, sore muscles, runny noses in some cases, which is rare, but like you get what I'm saying now. All right. So let's move forward. These viruses, termed SARS like coronaviruses, display greater genetic variation than the SARS coronavirus isolated from humans or from civets. The human and civet isolates of SARS coronavirus nestle phylogenetically within the spectrum of SARS like coronaviruses, indicating that the virus responsible for the SARS outbreak was a member of this coronavirus group. Yo, when they say things like that, they're literally just saying, "Oh, just so you know, it's similar. It's just so that way nobody asks questions as to how they're able to study this virus and to make studies or vaccines or whatever." You know, like they literally try to hide their claims and their errors inside of this semantics. But we gonna bust it open. That's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for. I'm gonna share it with everybody. That's what I'm trying to do. All right, so let's go. We know what SARS is, where SARS came from. All right, we know that they didn't find the host species of it. We know that they say that bats are the prime candidate of it, but bats have SARS-like coronaviruses in them. Okay, let's look at what coronaviruses actually are, and what that is not COVID-19. All right. So let's look at the definition that Healthline has really fast, and it says both COVID-19 and SARS are caused by coronaviruses. All right, they are caused by coronaviruses. The virus that causes SARS is known as SARS coronavirus, while the virus that causes COVID-19 is known as SARS coronavirus 2. All right. There are also other types of coronaviruses that affect humans. All right. Now, they said that SARS and COVID-19 are caused by coronaviruses. Let's quickly look at what Wikipedia says about coronaviruses. And they say that coronaviruses are a group of related RNA viruses that cause diseases in mammals and birds. In humans, these viruses cause respiratory tract infections, like what we've been seeing, that can range from mild to lethal. All right. Mild illnesses include some cases of the common cold, which is also caused by other viruses, predominantly rhinoviruses, while more lethal varieties can cause SARS, MRSA, and COVID-19. All right. So, coronaviruses in general cause cold like symptoms similar to the common cold. All right. Let's look at what Science Daily says, all right? A lot of people use coronavirus as a synonym for COVID-19, and I've been guilty of this too. We need to stop doing that because it really downplays the severity of COVID-19. But let's continue. Right. The kind of coronavirus causing the current pandemic. However, there are a vast number of types of different coronaviruses, potentially as many as bat species. All right. So, once again, there are almost as many types of coronaviruses as there are bat species. But let's look at what they say about that. Most of them are unknown to be transferred to humans and pose no threat. Once again, most of them are unknown to be transferred to humans and pose no threat. All right. All animals have viruses that live inside them, and bats, as well as a range of other animal groups, happen to be natural carriers of coronaviruses. Now that we have a better understanding of what SARS is, and now that we have a better understanding of what coronaviruses are, we can look into what I believe COVID-19 is. So, I want to give you guys some insight into my head and how all of these ideas and such came about now. All right. So, when I was reading into SARS and when I was learning about more coronaviruses, I realized okay, with SARS, they were not able to find where the animal reservoir host was. They say they thought that it was from bats, and they found a SARS like bat coronavirus in another species of horseshoe bat. So, how were they really going to be studying this to be creating vaccines, um, to be actually just be preventing this happening in the future? How are they doing that if they don't know where SARS came from? Right? How are they doing that? And this is where it really gets interesting. They did that by creating clones, hybrid Chimera virus clones of viruses. All right. Now, I want to go into what a hybrid virus is, what a Chimera virus is, so that way we can have an understanding of what they actually did. All right. So, COVID-19 is not just a regular coronavirus, which is why it's leaving so many people stumped as to like what's happening. It is a man-made bioweapon. All right. So before I get into all that crazy, let's actually look into studies and let's read these definitions so that way you guys can understand why you guys can be on the same page as me. All right, so let's get into it. A hybrid virus, sometimes called a multi-part virus, is one that combines characteristics of more than one type to infect both program files and system sectors. The virus may attack at either level and proceed to infect the other once it has established itself. All right, but hybrid viruses can be very difficult to eradicate, and unless completely eradicated, will often reinfect the host system repeatedly. Hello, somebody. Isn't that what's happening with COVID-19 currently? Didn't we think that there was going to be antibodies for the people that actually had the virus and that were recovering? Many of these people that have recovered are reactivated and are now retesting positive for coronavirus disease. What? What? That's a hybrid virus. It literally just told you that. But I'm not done yet. I am not done yet. Let's get into what a Chimera virus is because I want everybody to be on the same page with me so that when we are all asking all these questions, we're all asking the same questions as to like why is this going on? Make this clear. Let me know what's going on because I want to know. You know you love my singing. Don't even play. Don't even play. So, a chimera virus is defined as a new hybrid microorganism created by joining nucleic acid fragments from two or more different microorganisms in which each of at least two of the fragments contain essential genes necessary for replication. All right. Now, they said joining nucleic acid fragments. I need you guys to look up, does a virus have a nucleus? Just so you know, they do not. Viruses are proteins that have all these little spikes on them, and these spikes contain the DNA or the RNA materials that that remember pretty much the cells that they've come in contact, so that way they can replicate when they've come in contact with that animal or that reservoir host again. They can live in those animals, and that's how they evolve. So let's actually look into what it says about bioweapon under a chimera virus bioweapon. It literally says combining two pathogenic viruses increases the lethality of the new virus. All right. So hold on to all that parts right there that you see about chimera virus as a and bioweapon and hybrid virus. And we're gonna go and touch on this small little square that I have that Nature published on a lot of these scientific research. All right. So once again, how were they studying SARS coronavirus that broke out 17 years ago if they don't know the original reservoir species? They found SARS like coronaviruses in bats, and so most likely they were going to be studying that. All right? All right. So let's look at what this square published by Nature says. All right. It says using the SARS coronavirus reverse genetic system, we generated and characterized a chimeric virus expressing the spike of bat coronavirus SHC-014 and a mouse adapted SARS coronavirus backbone. They're literally telling you right now that they made a chimera virus. And before I break down any more about that, they're literally saying that they took this chimera virus and they put it inside of a mouse infected with SARS. All right. Based off of what we just read about what a chimera virus is and what a hybrid virus is, that's a chimeric hybrid virus, which also counts as a bioweapon because they took two pathogenic viruses and combined them together. And then they put it inside of another one. Here's the thing. Like, let's step back for a second. They said using the SARS coronavirus reverse genetic system. What they're telling you is that they created a SARS clone, right? They created the clone of SARS. So once again, remember I said that viruses are proteins wrapped in all those spikes. They took the coronavirus and they made a chimeric virus based off of the SARS clone that acted like this bat coronavirus's spikes. So it had the genetic structure that acted like the bat spikes, all right? And they mixed it together inside of a mouse with SARS. So they took like three different chimeric hybrid breeds and they mixed it together inside of a mouse. That's a bioweapon. So before anybody comes over and is like, well, Brandon, they study chimeric viruses all the time. They do these kind of things for research, blah, 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 blah. Why didn't they solve the virus for the SARS clone that they made originally? Why didn't they create a virus for that? Just because it just disappeared, they're like, oh, well, it's not going to come. Well, why didn't you figure that one out? Because you found a bat that has SARS like coronavirus. You know, you were able to get a SARS clone. This article was published in 2015. So before 2015, they were able to create a SARS clone already. So why didn't they create a SARS vaccine based off of that? Before they want to create chimeric viruses and coronaviruses, enhance the virus and make it more lethal. Why didn't you find a vaccine for the first one? And number two, if they needed to create a chimera virus that was similar to the coronavirus that was in that bat with a SARS-like coronavirus, and they had to create that based off of the SARS clone that they made. All right, they used the SARS clone to create a SARS-like coronavirus, and that SARS-like coronavirus was made using a chimeric virus. And then you're telling us that the COVID-19 is just a regular bat virus when how they made it, when how they made the original one was through using chimeras, viruses, and hybrid viruses, and now you're telling us that the virus that's affecting us now on this global scale is just natural. And here's the thing, all right? Remember that chimera viruses are made by joining nucleic acid fragments together, and viruses do not have nucleic acid fragments. So what did they use? All right, and that's the problem. The material that they use to create these viruses is an issue, and it has been known to be an issue in the past. And we're going to talk about that. We're really going to get into it, and we're going to get into it on the next episode. All right. So if you like what's been going on so far, if you like the content, make sure you like it, subscribe, you comment, you share the video so that way we can keep this stuff coming. All right. So, and remember, one love.